What's up, guys? How we doing? So Haiden Deegan has himself a rival, and it's on his own team. I got a Bennick injury update, and it's not as bad as it could have been, but it sure isn't good. And boy, did I open a can of worms by talking about Hunter Lawrence's wife, who used to be with Jeffrey Hurlings. Oh boy, I'm gonna get to that in a second. I know you guys all have aches and pains. Any of us who ride dirt bikes have aches and pains. We get injured a lot. Try Nano Extreme. This is by far the best pain treatment that I've ever used. And I'm not talking about just creams. I'm talking about pills or anything I've done. Nano Extreme is by far the most effective thing that I've ever used. Go to Nano Extreme, use code Cooksy, and get free shipping. Check out Complete Racing Solutions. Coach Rob has training programs for everybody, but he specifically focuses on kids and their different physiology. So if you have a young athlete and you don't want them burned out and you want them built to be stronger and better, check out Complete Racing Solutions. Precision Transport. If you're shipping anything, use pretransport.com. They're a family-owned business that believes in reasonable pricing, good tracking, and go figure, customer service. So hit up pretransport.com if you need to ship
You
anything.
need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So yesterday I touched on the fact that Hunter Lawrence has been calling Lucas Myrtle's ex-wife, who's dealing with a bunch of stuff and, trying to get her to turn on him. And he's doing some scandalous stuff to try and manipulate their story and their situation and try and make it seem like Lucas did more than he actually did. So I had made the joke like, hey, what are we doing? Are we going to go back through exes? And for those of you guys that don't know, this was all news to me. But when I mentioned Hunter Lawrence's wife used to date Jeffrey Hurlings, and I was joking, I'm like, should we call Jeffrey Hurlings and find out what's going on there? Like, what are we doing? That was sarcasm, but it opened up a can of worms that I didn't even know existed. It is not my favorite thing to talk about riders' wives because I don't care. I don't care who these guys date. Until it affects them on the track, I don't care. But there is an exception. When there are people who are violating young kids, girls, boys, doesn't matter. When there's an age gap and somebody's committing a crime, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with Loretta Lynn's letting a known offender rent golf carts to children and be around a camp area when they've known that he's on the list. I have a problem with Hunter Calais being a motocross coach and taking advantage of a young girl. I have issues with that stuff. That is a problem. And when I didn't put two and two together, when somebody had told me that Jeffrey Hurlings had dated Hunter's wife, I didn't think anything of it. But then they sent it to me and said, this was 2012. And I didn't know how old she was. I had no idea. Turns out, according to ageandbiography.com, she is 25 years old. We're in 2025. And if she's 25 now, simple math puts her at 12 years old when she was seeing Jeffrey Hurlings. I don't know about you guys. That's not okay. That is not okay. But before we go after Jeffrey Hurlings, let's just take a quick step back and make sure that that is her correct age. Maybe she's just lying about her age because she doesn't seem like Mrs. Robinson, because Hunter's only 25. So if she's 4 or 5 years older than him, I don't know, maybe she's embarrassed about that. Maybe that's the lie. Maybe it's not that she was 12 and Hurlings was 17 or 18. But we have an alarming trend in this sport of the media and these dirtbags covering up for people who do bad things. Because if anything like this were to get out about this amazing world champion, and I'm not even saying it's true, we need to check and find out if that's her actual age. If that's her actual age, Hurlings has got some explaining to do because that's not okay. That's not okay in any country, anywhere. And then, the tweet that was sent to me, by the way, it looks like maybe a company tried to scrub all these because they are very hard to find. Somebody's probably used some AI to try to get this stuff all off the internet. I hate to break it to these knuckleheads. It's out there. It's out there forever. We can find it. This is a tweet that Jeffrey Hurlings did to Cynthia Tonis back in the day. This is 2012, claiming he's going to kidnap her. Now, if this is just two people, if he's 17, 18, and she's 16, not a big deal. It could be laughable. But if he's 17, 18, and she's 12, or let's estimate high and say 13, that's disgusting. That is I would have to think that could be considered a crime, a threaten to kidnap a 13-year-old by an adult. That's not okay. But like I said, before we bury Jeffrey Hurlings, let's take a look and make sure she's not Mrs. Robinsoning everybody and she's actually 30 years old or something. So I don't want to bury Hurlings for something that he hasn't necessarily done. I would like to know her age because it matters. So I'm coming out with this information based on Age and Biography's report of how old Cynthia is. Now, is that accurate? That's what we need to find out, because if that's accurate, Hurlings is in some deep shit. Being completely honest, I sure hope it's a misunderstanding and she is a bit older than she's claiming. Now to the 250s from Philadelphia. This was an East-West showdown, and I'm glad they did such an amazing job getting that track race ready. It was a little bit muddy, but it wasn't bad. It was 100% a real Supercross race, and the guys got out there and showed what they can do on a real Supercross track. It wasn't like, survival or endurocross like the week before at Foxborough. I'm going to update you guys on Daxton Bennick's condition. He was knocked out. This is his second major concussion in 6 weeks. This is dangerous. I said after that first one, I couldn't believe they rushed him back so quickly. But with these guys, especially on that Star Yamaha team, they're worried. They're worried that they can't, if they don't go out there and race, they will get fired. Once you get fired from Star Yamaha, good luck getting hired somewhere else. If you can't succeed on that bike, not many other teams are going to give you a chance, and it can be a real career killer. So these riders are paranoid. They want to get back as soon as possible. But a concussion isn't like a wrist, a shoulder, or a knee where you can do an MRI and say, okay, well, here's the damage. Here's how long. You look at a person, you cannot see the damage. The damage is, the human brain is so complex, and what doctors know about concussions is very, very little. And they tend to focus on memory loss. They completely ignore a lot of the other symptoms from a concussion. Impulse control, depression, sense of humor, inability to concentrate. All these things can be side effects of concussions that they don't really check. I mean, they kind of check, but you can fake it for a doctor and you can get out there and race. A lot of the problem with the concentration one is it only happens after your heart rate's high for an extended period of time, say, I don't know, about halfway through a main event. Then you have a small lapse, then you crash again, and then you take another head injury and it just compounds that. Daxton Bennick is talented, and he very much has a good chance to become a star in this sport, but not if he keeps hitting his head. Apparently his T6 vertebrae is also broken. Not bad enough that he has to have surgery, but hopefully that will keep him out long enough. Now he's got something you can see on a x-ray machine that will keep him out long enough to hopefully let that brain completely heal, because you don't want to mess around with concussions. Your motor controls, everything is involved around the head. Don't mess with head injuries. But I can promise you, Daxton Bennick is feeling the pressure. With Cole Davies out there as a rookie looking so good, Haiden Deegan's winning, he's probably going to be champion. There's a lot of pressure on Daxton to get back out there and improve considerably. And speaking of Cole Davies, man, is he the top dog on Star now? Did he just bump Haiden Deegan as the top guy in their stable? I don't think so. But that was a big win, and he straight up, Deegan could not catch him at the end of that. So that's 2 in a row. That's 2 times in a row he's handled Haiden Deegan. Deegan made mistakes in Seattle, but this one was a little different. And I know Haiden Deegan was riding smart in championship mode, but let me just break this down for you. If you run the math, Haiden Deegan has a 17-point lead right now. Had he caught and passed Cole Davies, it would be a 23-point lead over Cole Davies and 29 over Julian Beaumer. He'd be looking to clinch this championship at Colorado. Instead, most likely, even if Deegan wins Colorado, it's still going to be a 20 or under 25-point lead, so he's not going to clinch. So he's got to carry that championship stress one more week. And this season is so long. Stress is one of the number one things that fatigues guys. How many times have we seen riders have a championship battle and all that stress, and then it leaks over into outdoors and they're fatigued and they have a letdown? If Deegan could have clinched this, he would have had an extra week of just not having that championship stress. And like I said, it's not so much the physical activity that runs these guys down. It is a lot, but it's also that mental stress, especially championship stress. So while it was the mature thing to do and the right thing to do as far as winning this championship, it's got to sting a little bit that this guy that they train with is the one keeping him from, clinching his first championship. I know they're friendly, but Deegan has a history of not being friendly with people he's racing against. I'm going to watch this one pretty close because, like I said, they're friends now. How long will it stay like that? I'm going to watch this one really close because if Cole Davies can make the same type of improvements that he has in Supercross outdoors, then he will be challenging Haiden Deegan outdoors. Now, I don't see him doing that, but if he does, oh boy, it's going to get interesting at the farm on practice days. What are they going to do? But if they can get through this summer and the 3-race SMX series without having any problems between Cole Davies and Haiden Deegan, they don't have to worry about it anymore. Next year, I would be willing to bet they're going to put Davies on one coast, Deegan on the other, and then Deegan goes 450 outdoors, and they don't have to worry about a rivalry for another 3 years. But I'm telling you, if Cole Davies comes out and rides outdoors like he is in Supercross and looks to be a challenger for Haiden Deegan, whoo, it's going to be a fun summer, that's all. And Julien Beaumer, man, this is my guy from Havasu. I really like this kid. He has had an amazing season. He's not going to win the championship, but he got a win. He's got some podiums. He has a really good season to build off of. Now, I would like to see him. He's got 2 more rounds left, Denver and then Salt Lake. I would love for him to finish off with some good races, maybe a win, another podium, and then head into outdoors. I don't look for him to be an outdoor contender, but I would like to see him battle a little bit more on that podium. For Julien Beaumer next year in Supercross, it's championship or bust. He'll be in the situation kind of like Levi Kitchen and these guys where, I mean, there's no other expectation. This year coming into the season, nobody said, oh, if he doesn't win the championship, it's a failure. Next year, they will. Check out Ride Strapped, goggles, glasses, red pill shirts, just a cool company that I am so fortunate that has helped me so much. So check out ridestrap.com. Alias MX gear, get your ombre gear. Or hey, if you bicycle, I don't bicycle, so I don't wear any of this stuff, but they have a lot of really high-tech bicycle clothing. So check it out over at aliasmx.com. Heading into Philadelphia, on paper, there were 6 guys within striking distance of the championship. And I know Cullen Park was there because of the mud, but he was still within striking distance. Now, you can spin it however you want. Cullen Park was within striking distance of the championship. After Philadelphia, Thrasher, Hymas, and Park, they're all pretty much out. Hampshire was on the verge of being out. Had they not got a restart, which Dax Bennick's nasty injury caused them to do a restart, and anytime you restart under 3 laps, it's a complete restart. He was given a gift. He got so lucky. But that's the thing with these championships. You do have to get a little bit lucky sometimes. But then you also have to take advantage when you get that restart. He didn't blow it again. He actually put in a good result. But he did what he had to do, and now he is tied for the lead with Seth Hammaker. And Seth did a really good job at holding it together. So he hole shots the first one, or I don't know, he's in the lead after the first lap, and he is checking out. He looks like he's well on his way to winning this race, with Vial back in the pack, Hampshire down in the first turn. He looks like he is going to take a stranglehold on this championship, and the red flag ripped it all out of his hands. That can be devastating to guys. That can crush guys. And then they come back and they can fall apart. Seth did not fall apart. Seth came back, fought his ass off, got a significant amount of points. Had he been able, I don't know what was going on with him. There was that triple after the whoops. He could not get it. And he was losing time there every single lap. That was the difference between battling for a podium or where he finished, is that one section. He could not get through that. But he's riding so good. He has 3 rounds left. He's tied for the championship lead. I still think he's going to get it done. Seth Hammaker has just leveled up this year. Tom Vial, last year's champion, the defending number 1 plate. Let's go back 1 week. He's a lap and a half, 2 laps away from taking a commanding lead of this championship and looking like he's going to win it without even having to win a race. And he gets stuck. He finishes 22nd. It just destroyed his momentum, and he has not been able to recover yet. He jumped on that tough block in the qualifier and then just went straight back. He had to go to the LCQ, which left him a bad starting position. And you needed a good gate pick on this gate because it was such a tight turn. It put him at a real disadvantage heading into that main event. But as bad as it's gone, he's still only a couple points out of that championship lead. There's 3 rounds left. He is going to have to win at least 1 or 2 of these rounds to become the champion. You're not going to be able to just mail it in and get second or third anymore. It is a 3-way battle with 3 rounds left. And when you have a guy like RJ Hampshire and Seth Hammaker who are just wild cards who will absolutely send it at any moment, he's going to have to send it. Now, if it were a longer series, you could count on them making a mistake. I don't see both of them making a mistake. One of them probably will, but you won't get both of them to make a mistake. Anyway, that's it for the video today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with a MXGP analysis from the Italian GP of Trentino. Wow, that track was built like in a national park. It's so beautiful, and the dirt, the racing. I am really enjoying watching MXGP. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all you members, and you guys are all entered to win a year subscription to Coach Rob's membership, where he helps you get into better shape, whatever your goals are, whether you want to just feel better, whether you want to be a competitive athlete.